Dad, the engine is making a funny noise. We better pull over. I thought this was a reconciliation trip. An afternoon on the road, father and son, after months without speaking. The dust from the road covered my shoes as I sat on that log. Rest there, Dad. I will check the trunk. I still remember the smell of burnt oil in the air. The sun was starting to go down. My heart was beating strangely, as if it knew something I refused to accept. I heard the engine start, and I only saw his taillights disappear into the dust. My granddaughter Ashley had told me that morning, with tears in her eyes, "Grandpa, please do not go." But I wanted to believe that my son still loved me, that after everything we had been through, there was still something left. That blood was thicker than money. If this story touches your heart, subscribe to the channel. Every day I share a story that could be yours, your neighbor's, or anyone's. Tell us in the comments where you are watching from. My name is William. I am 76 years old. I was a mechanic for 48 years, until my hands started shaking and I had to close the shop. I am a widower. My wife died 38 years ago, the same day our twin daughters were born. Since then, I raised my 3 children alone. Michael, the oldest, and the twins, Jessica and Jennifer. I live in my grandfather's house, on the outskirts of Kansas City. A big old house, full of things my family collected for generations. I never thought that house, my house, would be the reason my own son would abandon me in the middle of nowhere. But that is how it happened, and I still struggle to believe it. That day, Saturday, September 23rd, I woke up early. It was 6 in the morning when I heard a knock on the door. It was Michael. "Good morning, Dad. Ready for the trip?" I was still in my pajamas. I got dressed quickly. Gray slacks, a blue plaid shirt, and the black sneakers I use for walking. I put my heart medication in a small bag, put my wallet in my pocket, and went out. Outside was Dave's car, Michael's brother-in-law, a white 2011 Ford sedan. Dave was driving. Michael sat in the front. "Where are we going?" I asked. "To the country, Dad, to that place near the lake that you like." I nodded. I put on my seatbelt and closed my eyes. I thought, it is so good that Michael wants to spend time with me. During the trip, we spoke very little. Michael put music on the radio, an old country station. Dave was whistling. I looked out the window, watching the hills, the cows, and the farmhouses pass by. We stopped once at a roadside diner. Michael bought me a cheeseburger. "Eat up, Dad. The trip is long." The burger was good, but I was not very hungry. My heart had been beating strangely since I got in the car. It was not pain. It was something else, like a bad feeling, but I ignored it. We kept driving. The highway was empty. It was around 4 in the afternoon when Michael said, "Dave, stop here for a moment." Dave pulled over onto the shoulder. There was nothing around, just hills and silence. "Dad, the engine is making a funny noise," said Michael, turning around to look at me. "Get out for a moment. Sit there on that log. I'm going to check the trunk to see if something moved." I opened the door and got out. My legs were shaking a little. I was still weak from my pacemaker surgery. I walked to the log Michael pointed at, about 15 feet from the car. I sat down. The sun was starting to set, and there was a cool breeze messing up my hair. Michael opened the trunk, put his head in, and moved something. Dave stayed at the wheel with the engine running. I got comfortable on the log and took a deep breath. I thought, that is strange. I did not hear any noise in the engine, but I said nothing. You do not question your son. Then Michael closed the trunk, walked to the passenger door, got in, and before I could say anything, before I could ask what was happening, Dave hit the gas. The car took off kicking up dust. I stood up from the log. "Son, what are you doing?" I screamed. I walked a few steps toward the road. "Michael!" The car kept going. It did not brake. It did not stop. It just kept going, getting further away, until it became tiny in the distance, until it disappeared. I stayed there, standing in the middle of nowhere, with the dust still floating in the air, and the silence, a silence so big it hurt my ears. I did not understand. I could not understand. I went back to the log and sat down. He will come back, I thought. This is a joke. He will come back. Half an hour passed. He did not come back. An hour passed. Nothing. The sun was going down, and the cold was starting to bite. I did not have a jacket, only my shirt. I I rubbed my arms. I looked both ways down the road. Empty. Not a car, not a person, nothing. I started walking, slowly, because my heart was beating hard, and the doctor had told me not to overexert myself. I walked along the shoulder, picking up my feet so I would not trip over the rocks. I thought, why did he leave me here? Did he forget me? Did he have car trouble? I still did not want to believe the truth. I was still looking for explanations that made sense, because you never want to believe your son is capable of abandoning you. You always look for another way out, another reason. But there was no other reason. I walked for about a mile when I heard the sound of an engine. I turned around. A big truck was coming, one of those 18-wheelers that carry produce. I raised my hand. The truck braked. The driver rolled down the window. He was a heavy-set man, with a gray beard and a baseball cap. "What happened to you, old-timer?" "They left me here," I told him. My voice sounded strange, like it was broken. "What do you mean they left you?" "My son. He took me for a ride and he left me." The man looked at me with pity. "Hop in, sir. I will take you to town." He helped me climb into the cab. Inside, it smelled like tobacco and coffee. He started the engine. "What is your name?" "William." "I am Hank. Relax, William. We are going to figure out what happened." But I already knew. Deep down, I already knew. Hank took me to a small town, about 12 miles from where I had been left. He dropped me at the entrance of the police station. "Will you be okay, Mr. William?" "Yes, thank you." I went in. There was a young officer drinking coffee behind a desk. I told him what had happened. He frowned. "Your son left you on the highway?" "Yes." "Do you have his phone number?" I gave him the number. The officer called. He did not answer. He tried 3 times. Nothing. "Do you have another number?" "His house number." I gave him my house number. The officer dialed. It rang twice and then a recorded voice. "The number you dialed is not in service." I froze. "What do you mean it is not in service?" "That is my phone." The officer looked at me seriously. "Mr. William, do you live alone?" "Yes." "And is there anyone else I can call?" I called Jessica, my daughter. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Dad." Her voice sounded strange, suspicious. "Honey, I need you to come. I am in a town. I do not know exactly where. Michael left me on the highway and— Dad, Michael called us last night. He said you have been confused since the operation, that you are saying strange things." "What?" "No, honey. Dad, please rest. We will go see you when we get back from vacation." "I cannot talk right now." And she hung up. I stayed with the phone in my hand. The officer was looking at me. "What happened?" "She does not believe me," I said. My voice was almost a whisper. "My own daughter does not believe me." The officer sighed. "Look, Mr. William, it is best if you rest here tonight. Tomorrow we will see how to get you home." I nodded. I did not have strength for anything else. That morning, before leaving, Ashley had come to my room. My oldest granddaughter, the 19-year-old. She came in without knocking, with red eyes. "Grandpa, do not go." "Why, sweetie?" "Please, do not go with Dad." Her voice cracked. I got closer. I stroked her hair. "It is just a trip, Ashley. It will be good for me." "No, Grandpa, it is not a trip. He is." Michael knocked on the door. "Ashley, let your grandfather get ready." She looked at me desperately. She wanted to say something else, but she went quiet. She left the room. I finished dressing and went out too. I did not listen to her. I thought she was exaggerating. Young people always exaggerate, right? But Ashley knew. She tried to save me, and I did not listen to her. That night I slept in a chair at the police station, with a blanket the officer lent me. I could not close my eyes. I just looked at the ceiling, thinking, why Michael? What did I do wrong? And then I started putting the pieces together. The questions about the objects in the house, the power of attorney he made me sign, the disconnected phone, the call to Jessica, preparing her not to believe me. Everything was planned. Everything. My son did not take me for a trip. He took me to get rid of me. And while I waited on that log, thinking he was coming back, he was selling my house, emptying it, erasing me. And I went. Despite Ashley's tears, despite the bad feeling. I went, because I wanted to believe he still loved me. The next day, the officer got a neighbor to drive me back to the city. It was 11 in the morning when I arrived at my house. Or what had been my house. The gates had a chain with a padlock. I got out of the car and walked up. I knocked on the gate. "Hello, is anyone there?" Silence. A neighbor came out of the house next door. Mr. Patrick, who lived there since before I was born. "William, where were you?" "Trucks came yesterday. They took everything." I grabbed the gate. My legs were shaking. "Trucks?" "Yes. Your son was here with some guys. They emptied the house, furniture, paintings, everything. I thought you were moving. I was not moving. I was being robbed. In my own house. With my own signature." I felt my chest tighten. Mr. Patrick grabbed my arm. "Come here. Sit down. I will bring you water." My wife was named Emily. I met her at a county fair, in the small town where she lived. I was 21. She was 19. We danced all night. At the end, she gave me her address. "If you want to visit me, come on Sundays." And I went every Sunday for 6 months, until I asked her to marry me. We got married in her town's church, with a dress her mother sewed. We had Michael the next year. We were happy. Poor, but happy. I worked in someone else's shop. Emily took care of the baby, and on Sundays we went to the river. But when she got pregnant with the twins, everything got complicated. The birth was difficult. The girls were born healthy, but Emily started bleeding. The doctors did what they could, but it was not enough. She died that same night. Holding my hand, I was left alone with 3 children. Michael was 10. The twins were newborns. My sister Betty came to help me the first few weeks, but she had her family. She could not stay forever. So I learned. I learned to change diapers at dawn, to prepare bottles, to sleep 3 hours a night. I worked at the shop during the day, and at night I was mother and father. Michael helped me. Poor kid. He was a child, but he already had to be a grown-up. He handed me the towels when I bathed the twins. He helped me fold clothes. He went with me to the market on Saturdays. "Dad, I will help you," he would say. And he helped me. We were a team. I thought, this boy is going to be a good man. He is going to take care of his sisters. And I believed it for years, until that Saturday on the highway. When Michael was 12, he started coming with me to the shop on Saturdays. I taught him to change oil, to check brakes, to clean filters. He was good with his hands. He learned fast. One Saturday we were fixing an old pickup truck for a customer who always came. Michael handed me the wrenches without me asking. He knew which one I needed just by looking at me. "You are good at this, son," I told him. He smiled. "It is because you teach me well, Dad." We finished the work at noon. I paid him $5. "Go on, buy yourself something." He came back with 2 sandwiches, one for you, one for me. We ate them sitting on the curb of the shop, with our hands full of grease. That day I thought, how lucky I am to have a son like this. How wrong I was. The house where I live I inherited from my father. He inherited it from my grandfather, who built it in 1925. It is big, brick, with a backyard and a porch with wooden columns. Inside there are things my family collected for years. In the dining room there is a Swiss clock my grandfather brought from a trip to Europe. In the living room, 3 Civil War paintings they bought at an auction. In the study, a collection of old maps from when the country was still forming. A collector offered me $150,000 for those maps 5 years ago. I told him no. This is family property. It is not for sale. That house was not just a property. It was memory. It was all I had left of my people. And Michael knew it. That is why he wanted it. Sundays were sacred in my house. Every Sunday Michael brought his children, Ashley and Brian. They arrived around noon. I cooked a stew with potatoes, carrots, and meat. Emily always made it like that, and I followed her recipe. Ashley helped me set the table. "Grandpa, do I set 4 plates or 5? 5, honey. 1 for your dad, 1 for your mom, 1 for your brother, 1 for you, and 1 for me." Brian sat in the living room, looking at the paintings. "Grandpa, where did you get this?" "From my grandfather. It is almost 100 years old. We ate together, talked, laughed. Karen, Michael's wife, praised my food. "It is delicious, William." I felt good. I felt I had a family. I felt I still mattered. But now I know that while I was cooking, they were calculating how much everything was worth. 2 months ago, I had heart surgery. I have had a pacemaker for 5 years, and the battery ran out. It had to be changed. It was not serious, the doctors told me. But at my age, everything is a risk. The night before, I called my children. Jessica and Jennifer came from out of town. They cried, "Dad, everything is going to be fine." Michael arrived later, looking tired. "Relax, old man. I will take care of everything while you are in the hospital." They operated on me at 7 in the morning. When I woke up, Michael was there, sitting in a chair. "How do you feel?" "Alive," I told him. He smiled. But now, looking back, I wonder what he was thinking. If he felt relief because I survived, or disappointment because I did not die and he still had to wait to keep the house. During the recovery, Michael stayed at my house to take care of you, Dad. "You cannot be alone." Karen came to cook. Brian gave me my meds. Everything seemed normal, but Michael walked around the house like he was inspecting it. He opened drawers, touched the paintings, looked at the clocks. "Dad, this clock, how much is it worth?" "I do not know, son. It is old. And these maps in the study? They are antiques." He nodded as if taking notes. I thought it was curiosity, that he wanted to know the family history. But it was not that. He was appraising. He was taking inventory. He was preparing the robbery. And I, like an idiot, told him everything. I told him how much each thing was worth, where it came from, what it meant. I was giving him the tools to destroy me. One Tuesday, about 2 weeks after the surgery, Michael arrived with some papers. "Dad, I need you to sign this." "What is it?" "A power of attorney. This way. If something happens to you, I can handle your things without a problem. Pay bills, do paperwork, those things." My eyes were tired. The letters were dancing. "Can I read it later?" "It is long, Dad, and it does not say anything strange. It is just to make our lives easier." He handed me a pen. I signed. With a shaking hand, still weak, I signed. I did not read it. I trusted. And that signature was my sentence. Because that power of attorney was not to make my life easier. It was to take it away. To sell my house without me knowing. To erase me. And I gave it to him. I gave him the power to destroy me, and on top of that I thanked him. 2 weeks later, Michael proposed the trip. We were drinking coffee on the porch on a Saturday afternoon. "Dad, you need to get out. You shut yourself in too much." "I am old, son. Where am I going to go?" "I will take you. Let's go to the country, to that place you liked. You get fresh air, eat something good, relax." I liked the idea. We had been months without really talking, without being together. After the surgery, everything had been doctors, medicine, beds. I missed my son. "When?" "Next Saturday. Pack a small bag and that is it." "Okay, sure." I accepted because I wanted to believe he still loved me, that he still cared. That family meant something, but for him it meant nothing anymore. I was just an obstacle, an old man standing between him and a house full of valuable things. "Dad, we are always going to be together." He made that promise hundreds of times. When he was a boy, when he was a teenager, when he had his children. "You are going to live with us when you get older. We are never going to leave you alone." I held on to those words, because when you get old, when the body fails and strength goes away, you need to believe someone is going to be there, that you are not going to die abandoned, that your children are going to honor you. But Michael's promises were smoke, empty words that the wind carried away on that highway. I thought it was love, that the care, the visits, the trip proposal, everything was love. But no, it was inventory. It was a son measuring how much it is worth to get rid of his father. And when the math worked out, he took me out of his life. And I, an idiot until the end, got in that car thinking we were going to reconnect. My sister Betty came to visit me on a Thursday, about 3 weeks before the trip. She arrived without warning, with a container of beans she had cooked. So you do not just eat noodles, she told me. We sat in the kitchen. She looked everywhere like she was searching for something. What is wrong, Betty? William, I have to tell you something. She bit her lip. That son of yours is walking around measuring the house. I laughed. What do you mean measuring? Just what you heard. Last week I saw him with a guy on the sidewalk pointing at the gate, and the other one was writing things in a notebook. It must be for some repair, I told her. No, brother, it is not to fix anything. That son of yours has vulture eyes, I am telling you. I got angry. Do not talk about Michael like that. He is my son. Betty slammed the container on the table. Fine, have it your way, but do not say I did not warn you. We argued badly that day. Betty got up from the table, grabbed her purse. When you realize it, it will be too late. Enough, Betty. Leave if you are going to talk like that. I am leaving. She left, slamming the door. She did not come back. I stayed there, angry, thinking she was exaggerating, that she was jealous, that she never liked Michael because when they were kids, he talked back to her. It is old resentment, I thought. But it was not resentment. It was the truth. And I, instead of listening to her, threw her out of my house. I defended him. Because you always defend your children, even if you have doubts. Even if something deep down tells you something is not right, you always choose to believe them. Karen, Michael's wife, started coming more often. Before she came only on Sundays, with the family, but after the operation she came during the week too. William, I brought you soup. William, do you need anything from the supermarket? She was too attentive, too sweet. One Wednesday she came with a pot pie. She sat with me at the table while I ate. William, you have such a beautiful house, so full of history. Yes, it is old, but I love it. And those paintings are originals. Yes, Civil War era. They must be worth a fortune. I shrugged. I do not know. I never appraised them. She smiled, but the smile did not reach her eyes. Now I understand. She was confirming, verifying that what Michael had told her was true, that the house was worth what he said. Michael started asking me strange questions. One Sunday, after lunch, he stood looking at the Swiss clock in the dining room. Dad, how much is this clock worth? I have no idea, son. But it must be worth something, right? It is antique. I suppose. He got close, touched it. Does it work? Yes. You have to wind it every 3 days. What if you sold it? How much would they give you? I laughed uncomfortably. I am not going to sell it, Michael. It is my grandfather's. I know, Dad, but out of curiosity. I do not know. I never thought about selling it. He nodded, but kept looking at it. Then he went to the study. He came back with one of the old maps. And this? It is from 1830-something. A map from when the territory was. Is it worth money? Yes, quite a bit. How much? He was bothering me. I do not know, Michael. Why so much interest? Nothing, Dad. Just curiosity. But it was not curiosity. It was inventory. Dave, the brother-in-law, started showing up more often. Before I saw him once a month, maybe. But after my surgery, he came every week, just coming to say hello, Mr. William, always with that fake smile. One Saturday, he came with Michael. The two of them walked through the backyard, measuring with their eyes. How many square feet is this yard, Dad? Asked Michael. I do not know. I never measured it. It must be big. A few thousand feet? Maybe. Dave was whistling, hands in his pockets. Nice property, Mr. William. In good condition. Yes. I take care of it. Then they went inside the house. Dave stood looking at the ceiling beams. Good wood. You cannot find this anymore. I nodded without understanding why so much attention. Now I know. He was appraising. The two of them were appraising, deciding how much every piece of my life was worth. Ashley was acting strange. My granddaughter, who was always happy, affectionate, started acting quiet. One Sunday, she was helping me wash dishes. Grandpa, can I ask you something? Of course, honey. She stayed quiet, scrubbing a plate with the sponge. Do you trust Dad? The question surprised me. Of course I trust him. He is my son. And if he... She went quiet. If he what? She shook her head. Nothing. Ashley, if there is something you have to tell me. Michael walked into the kitchen. What secret chat do you have in here? Ashley dropped the plate. She dried her hands. Nothing, Dad. It is over. She left quickly. Michael looked at me. What did she tell you? Nothing important, I lied. But Ashley had tried to warn me, and I, again, did not pay attention. Why do you not want to see the signs when they come from where you least expect? One night, Ashley went into Michael's study looking for a pen. The door was open. She saw papers on the desk. Contracts. Something that said property appraisal. She got close. She read, estimated value, $450,000. It was my address. She heard footsteps. She hid the papers quickly. Michael came in. What are you doing here? I was looking for a pen. Do not touch my things. He took her out of the study. That night, Ashley told Brian, Dad is planning something with Grandpa's house. They stayed awake trying to understand. 2 days later, Brian found Michael's phone unlocked on the table. He opened the group chat house plan. He read the messages. His blood froze. Take him for a ride. Leave him somewhere far. He took screenshots. He sent them to Ashley. That night they tried to talk to me, but Michael never left them alone with me. He watched them, and they knew that if they said something too soon, the plan would change, but it would still exist. Jessica and Jennifer, my daughters, started calling me less. Before they called me 2, 3 times a week, but after the surgery, barely once, and always short. Dad, how are you? Good, honey. When are you coming to visit? Soon, Dad. We are very busy with work. So busy you cannot come see your father. It is not that, Dad. It is just that Michael says you get stressed with visits, that we better let you rest. I froze. Michael told you that? Yes. He says the doctor recommended you stay calm. That was a lie. The doctor never said that. But my daughters believed him, not me. Because Michael was already preparing the ground. He was already planting the idea that I was confused, weak, senile, so that when he abandoned me, they would not believe me. One Tuesday, he arrived with the papers. I was on the porch, taking in the sun. Dad, I need your signature here. What is it? A power of attorney. So I can handle your things if something happens. He had mentioned it before, but that day he brought the official papers. It was about 5 pages, small print. I looked for my glasses. Let me read. It is very technical, Dad. Legal stuff. Basically, it says if something happens to you, I can pay your bills, do paperwork, those things. It is for your own good. I tried to read, but the letters were dancing. My eyes were not working. What if I ask a lawyer to review it? Michael frowned. Do you not trust me? It is not that, son. It is just. Dad, this is to protect you. If you do not want to sign it, do not sign it. He put the papers away. Offended. I felt guilty. No, Michael. Wait, I will sign. He handed me a blue pen. I put the papers on the porch table. I tried to read again, but I understood nothing. Here? Yes? There, at the bottom of each page, I signed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. With a shaking hand, still weak from the operation, William. My signature looked like someone else's. It looked like an old man's signature. Michael grabbed the papers, put them in a folder. Done, Dad. Thanks. What did you need this for, son? I already told you. Just as a precaution, in case something happens. What is going to happen? Nothing, Dad. Hopefully nothing. But at your age, you never know. He left. I stayed there, with the pen in my hand. I felt something strange in my stomach, something I could not name. But I ignored it, like I ignored everything else. Because you do not want to believe your son is betraying you, even if all the signs are there, screaming the truth at you. 2 days later, Michael came back, this time with Dave. Dad, remember I told you about the trip? Yes. Does Saturday work for you? Yes. Seems fine. Perfect. We leave early, around 7 in the morning. Pack light, just what is necessary. How many days will we be gone? I do not know. 2, 3. Depending on how you feel. Dave was in the living room, looking at the paintings. Again, Mr. William never thought about selling these things? No. It is just that they are worth money, you know? A friend of mine buys antiques. If you want, I can give you his contact. I do not want to sell anything. Dave shrugged. Whatever you want. But the question was already asked. The message was already given. They already knew what everything was worth, and I had just given them the legal power to do whatever they wanted. I signed my own sentence with a shaking hand. That is what I did. I gave them the keys to my life. I gave them authorization to destroy me. And on top of that, I thanked them. Thanks for taking care of me, son. Thanks for worrying. What an idiot I was. The signs were all there. Betty warning me. Karen asking too much. Michael appraising every object. Dave appearing out of nowhere. Ashley trying to talk. My daughters calling Les. The power of attorney. Everything was connected. Everything was part of the plan. But I did not want to see it. Because seeing meant accepting that my son was betraying me. And that was more painful than anything else. So I kept going. I packed my bag for the trip. I shaved. I put on clean clothes. And I waited for Saturday, like a lamb waiting for the slaughterhouse. Saturday dawned beautiful. Clear sky. Soft sun. I woke up at 6. I showered. I dressed in the gray slacks and plaid shirt. I put the medication in a cloth bag. I put 2 changes of clothes in an old backpack. At 7, the doorbell rang. It was Michael. Ready, Dad? Ready. I went out. Everyone was at the gate. Karen with red eyes, as if she had been crying. Ashley and Brian quiet, serious. Even Dave was there, standing next to the white car. What is everyone doing here? I asked. We came to see you off, William, said Karen. She got close and hugged me tight. Too tight. I felt her tears on my shoulder. Take care of yourself, William. Take care. It seemed strange. It was just a 2-day trip. Why was she crying? But I said nothing. You do not question people's emotions. Michael spoke loudly, as if he wanted the whole neighborhood to hear. Dad is so excited for this trip, right, old man? I nodded uncomfortably. Mr. Patrick, the neighbor, was watering the garden. Going for a ride, William? Yes, Mr. Patrick. A few days in the country. That is good. Have fun. Mrs. Stella, from the house across the street, also came out. William, have a good trip. Everyone looked at me. Everyone smiled. And I felt something strange, as if I were in a play and did not know my role. Karen kept crying. Ashley had eyes full of tears, but said nothing. Brian looked at the ground. Okay, that is it. Let's go, said Michael. He grabbed my arm. He took me to the car. He opened the back door. Get in, Dad. Get in. Karen gave me a kiss on the cheek. I love you, William. Me too, Karen. The door closed. The car started. And that was the last time I saw my house with the gate open. In the car, Dave was driving, Michael in front, me in the back. Dave put on music, old country, the kind I like. Michael looked at his phone. During the first 20 minutes, no one spoke. I looked out the window, watching the city stay behind. We passed downtown, the square where Emily and I used to sit on Sundays. We passed the market where I bought meat. We passed the church where we got married. Dad, remember when you used to take me to the square as a kid? Asked Michael, without looking up from his phone. Yes, I remember. You were a good dad. I tried. He said nothing else. He continued with his phone. And I stayed thinking about that phrase. Were, in the past tense, as if I wasn't anymore. As if that time had already ended. We left the city on the highway. Traffic was light. Dave drove calmly, whistling to the rhythm of the music. I felt my heart beat strangely. It was not pain. It was unease. How long until we get there? I asked. A while, Dad. Relax. Michael turned around. How do you feel? Heart okay? Yes. Fine. Did you bring your meds? Yes. Perfect. He went back to looking at the phone. He was writing something. Messages were coming in. Dave looked at him sideways. Everything good? Yes. Just coordinating? Coordinating what? I asked. Nothing, Dad. Work stuff. But something in his tone I did not like. Something did not add up. We kept driving. The landscape changed. Fewer houses, more fields, cows, hills, fences. The sky got bigger, and I felt smaller. We stopped at a diner, about halfway there. Dave parked. Let's eat something quick. We got out. The place was small, with 3 plastic tables on the sidewalk. A heavy woman was serving. "What are you going to have?" "3 cheeseburgers," said Michael. "And to drink?" "3 colas." I had not ordered anything. Michael ordered for me, as if I could not, as if I were a child. We sat down. The burgers arrived. Michael put one in front of me. "Eat, Dad." "Thanks." I grabbed the burger, took a bite. It was good, but I was not hungry. Michael and Dave talked about football, about a game that had been on the night before. I tried to follow the conversation, but I did not understand which team they were talking about. "The Bears?" I asked. Dave laughed. "No, Mr. William. The Packers." I felt foolish. Michael looked at me. "Dad, the Bears played last week." "Oh." I went quiet. I kept eating my burger, feeling the heat rise to my face. Dave laughed again. It was not a mean laugh, but it hurt anyway. Michael smiled. The old man does not understand football anymore. He said it as a joke, but I felt it like a stab. "I do understand," I said softly. "Come on, Dad, it is a joke." But it was not. It was a way of telling me I was old, that I was out of touch, that I was useless. We finished eating in silence. Michael paid. "I will pay," I said, taking out my wallet. "No, Dad, put the money away." "But I can." "Put the money away. I told you." His tone was hard. I put the wallet away. I felt useless, as if I could not even pay for a burger. We went back to the car. We continued the trip, and that knot in my stomach got bigger. Something was wrong, but I still did not know what. Half an hour later, I asked again. "Are we far?" "No, Dad. We are almost there." But the landscape did not change. Just highway, hills, nothing. "Where are we going exactly?" "To a quiet place, I know. You are going to like it." I nodded, but I liked nothing. Dave looked in the rearview mirror. "How is that heart doing, Mr. William?" "Good." "Nothing hurts?" "No." "That is good, because there are no hospitals near here." The sentence stayed spinning in my head. Why are there no hospitals near? It is a rural zone, Dad. Country. That is why it is nice. Quiet. But I did not want quiet. I wanted to go home. I started feeling that something was very wrong, that this trip was not what I thought, that I had made a mistake. But we were already far away, and there was no turning back. Dave got off the main highway. He took a dirt road. The car jumped with the potholes. "Is it this way?" asked Michael. "Yes. Almost there." "Almost there for what?" I asked. "To arrive, Dad." But there was nothing. Just dirt, rocks, dry bushes. The road got narrower. The car kicked up dust. I held onto the seatbelt, feeling every bump. My heart beat faster. "Son, I think I want to go back." "Why, Dad?" "I do not feel well." "We are here. Hold on a little more." But we kept driving. 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. Just empty fields. "Michael, stop the car. I want to go back." "Relax, Dad. We almost." "Stop the car." Michael turned around. He looked at me seriously. "Dad, calm down. It is going to be bad for your heart." But I could not calm down anymore. I knew. Deep down, I already knew. The car stopped. In the middle of nowhere. Dave turned off the engine. Silence. Just the wind blowing. "Why did we stop here?" I asked. Michael opened the door. "The engine is making a funny noise. Get out for a moment, Dad. Sit on that log while I check." He pointed to an old log lying on the side of the road. I opened the door. I got out. My legs were shaking. I walked to the log. I sat down. Michael opened the trunk. Dave stayed at the wheel, with the engine running. I breathed deep, trying to calm my heart. The sun was starting to go down. It was cold. "What noise did you hear, son?" Michael did not answer. He closed the trunk. He walked to the door. He got in. "Son, what is happening?" The car started. "Michael!" I screamed. I stood up. The car moved away. "Come back! Michael, come back!" But he did not come back. He just left, kicking up dust, leaving me there, alone, in the middle of nowhere. I stood there, watching the dust floating in the air. I could not believe it. I could not process what just happened. He will come back, I thought. This is a joke, a mistake. He will come back. I sat again on the log. I waited. 5 minutes, 10. 15. He did not come back. The sun kept going down. The cold increased. I started shivering. Not from cold, from fear, from rage, from pain. My own son had left me stranded. He had brought me all the way here, just to abandon me, as if I were trash, as if my life was worth nothing. I put my hand to my chest. My heart beat wildly. Breathe, William. Breathe deep, but I could not, because it was not just my heart that was broken. It was everything. It was my whole life crumbling on that dirt road. If you are listening to my story, please leave me a comment telling me where you are watching from. Sometimes, knowing there are people out there listening gives me strength to keep telling, because what I am going to tell you now is the hardest part. It is what cost me the most to accept. That trip, that theatrical goodbye at the gate, those tears from Karen. It had all been a lie. A play staged so the neighbors believed I was going for a ride, so no one would suspect when I did not come back. Michael had planned it all. I asked again. "A while?" said Michael without looking at me. His voice sounded different, colder. I adjusted in my seat, trying not to think. But the knot in my stomach was still there, and my heart was beating faster than normal. I closed my eyes a moment, took a deep breath. "Relax, William. It is just a trip." Dave got off the main highway. He took a secondary road, narrower. The asphalt turned to dirt. The car started jumping with the potholes. "Is it this way?" asked Michael. "Yes, like I told you." I opened my eyes. "Where are we?" "On a shortcut, Dad." But it did not look like a shortcut. It looked like a road to the middle of nowhere. There were no houses. There were no people, just dry fields, bushes, rocks. Dust was coming in through the car vents. I started coughing. "Close the window, Dad," said Michael. I closed it. The air inside got heavy, hot. I felt like I was lacking air. "Can we stop a moment? I need to get out." "Later, Dad." We are almost there. But we were not arriving anywhere. We just kept getting deeper and deeper into nothingness. Michael turned to look at me. His face was serious. He was not smiling anymore. He was not pretending anymore. "Dad, I have to tell you something." My heart skipped a beat. "What is wrong, son?" "Nothing. I just wanted you to know that this is for the best." "What is for the best?" "This, the trip, everything." I did not understand. "I do not understand you, Michael." He sighed like he was tired. "I know you do not understand. You never understand anything." The tone hurt me. "Why do you talk to me like that?" "Because it is the truth, Dad." He turned around, looked forward again. Dave accelerated a little. The engine roared. I grabbed the seatbelt, feeling that something very bad was about to happen. "Michael, I want to go home." "You cannot go back, Dad." "What do you mean I cannot?" "Because there is no house anymore." The words hit me like a punch. "What did you say?" "That there is no house anymore." "Well, the house is there, but it is not yours anymore." I froze. "What are you talking about?" Michael turned around again. This time his face was calm. Too calm. "I sold the house, Dad, yesterday. While you were packing your little bag for the trip, I was signing the papers with the buyer." I felt the world move. "No, you cannot sell my house." "Yes, I can. I have the power of attorney you signed. Remember? You gave me the power. But I signed that for something else. For emergencies. And this is an emergency. Mine. I needed the money. My whole body was shaking. Michael, that house is mine. It is the family's. It was yours. Now it belongs to Mr. Miller, a guy from the city who pays well. You are useless now, Dad." The words came out cold, hard, like stones. "You cannot work anymore. You cannot take care of the house. You only spend money on medicine. You are a burden." I tried to speak, but my voice would not come out. And that house was full of things that were worth money. Money that I need, that my family needs. So I made the decision. What decision? To sell everything. The paintings, the clocks, the maps, the furniture, everything. You cannot do this to me. It is already done, Dad." He turned around again, looking at the road. Dave kept driving, in silence, as if nothing was happening, as if they were not destroying me. I put my hand to my chest. My heart hurt. It really hurt, as if something inside was breaking into pieces. The silence in the car was heavy, dense, as if the air had turned into cement. I looked at the back of my son's neck, that hair I had cut when he was a boy, that head I had patted 1,000 times, and I did not recognize him. Why, Michael? My voice came out broken. Why are you doing this to me? Because life is like that, Dad. Because old people get in the way. Because I have to think about my future, about my children. Your children love me. Ashley and Brian love me. Yes, they love you. And that is why I did not tell them anything, so they would not suffer. Ashley knew. She tried to warn me. Michael tensed up. Ashley is nosy. She went snooping where she shouldn't. She is good. She has a heart, something you lost. Michael laughed, a dry laugh, without joy. I did not lose it, Dad. I just learned to use it less. Dave accelerated more. The car was going fast now on that dirt road. I held onto the seatbelt tightly. Where are you taking me? You will see. Michael, please. Stop the car. Let's talk. There is nothing to talk about, Dad. It is already decided. What is decided? He did not answer. We kept driving. The sun was getting lower. The sky was turning orange. It was hot inside the car, but I felt cold. A cold that was born from inside. I thought of Emily, of what she would say if she saw this. Your mom would protect me, I told Michael. Your mom would never have let you do this to me. Mom is dead, Dad. Almost 40 years ago. She cannot protect anyone. She knew you. She knew how you were. She knew nothing. She died when I was a kid. She knew you were sensitive, that you needed love, and you gave me love. And now I give you this. It is fair, isn't it? My heart was beating so fast I thought it was going to explode. I put my hand to my chest, took a deep breath. Dave, stop the car. I feel sick. Dave looked at Michael. Michael nodded. Stop here. The car braked hard. It raised a cloud of dust. I coughed. I need to get out. I need air. We are getting out, Dad. Relax. But I was not relaxed. I was terrified. Because now I understood. Now I knew exactly what was happening. It was not a trip. It was not a ride. It was a plan to get rid of me, to get me out of the way, so I could not claim anything. I looked out the window. There was nothing around, just empty fields, hills, silence. And I knew what was coming was worse than everything he had told me until now. Dad, if it helps, it was not easy. Michael spoke without looking at me. It was not easy to decide, but it was necessary. Necessary to abandon your father. Necessary to move on. The house is worth a lot. More than $400,000, with everything inside. With that money I can pay debts, buy a house for Karen, send Brian to a good college. And me? What happens to me? You already lived, Dad. 76 years. You had your life. Now it is my turn. That man was not my son. He was something else. Something I had not raised. Something that did not come from me. If your mother saw you, I said, she would die again. Michael closed his eyes. For a second, for a single second, I saw something. Pain, doubt, but he hid it quickly. Mom is not here. It is just you and me. And this is what has to happen. The car stopped. Completely. Dave turned off the engine. Total silence. Just the wind hitting against the windows. Michael opened his door. Get Dad out. No, get out. The engine is making a funny noise. It is not making any noise. Get Dad out. Do not make me repeat it. His voice was an order. Cold. Hard. I opened the door with shaking hands. I got out. My legs barely held me. Michael pointed to an old log lying on the side of the road. Sit there. I am going to check the trunk. I walked to the log. I sat down. The sun was setting. The orange sky was turning red. It was cold. And I, in that moment, sitting on that log in the middle of nowhere, understood. I understood it was not a trip. It was a goodbye. It was my son's way of telling me, I do not need you anymore. You do not exist anymore. And there, on that log, with the cold wind hitting my face, with my heart beating wildly, I understood that everything had been a lie, that every I love you, Dad, every hug, every promise, had been acting, that for my son I had stopped being a person. I was just an obstacle, an old man getting in the way between him and a house full of money. And now I was here, in the middle of nowhere, waiting for what I already knew was going to happen. Because you can refuse to see the truth for a long time, but there comes a moment when the truth hits you in the face with such force that you cannot ignore it anymore. And that was my moment. That log, that empty road, that setting sun. That was the moment my life, as I knew it, ended. And my son was the one holding the knife. Michael walked to the trunk. He opened it. I watched him from the log, with my hands on my knees, trying to control the shaking. He put his head inside, as if he were looking for something, moved things, closed the trunk. Then he walked to the passenger door, opened it, got in, and I was still there, waiting for him to tell me, "Okay, Dad." It was a false alarm. "Get in." But he did not say it. He said nothing. Dave was still at the wheel, with the engine running. He never turned it off, and that should have warned me. It should have been the signal. But I still wanted to believe. I still hoped my son was not capable of what he was about to do, but he was, and he did it. "Son?" I asked from the log. My voice sounded weak, old. "What is wrong?" Michael closed his door, put on his seatbelt. He did not look at me. "Michael, is everything okay?" The engine roared. Dave put it in gear. The car started to move. Slowly at first. I stood up from the log. "What are you doing? Where are you going?" The car accelerated. "Michael!" I screamed. I walked toward the car with shaking legs. "Wait, do not leave me here." But the car continued, accelerated more. I tried to run after it. I ran about 10, 12 feet, but I could not. My legs would not give. My heart beat so hard I thought it was going to explode. I stopped. I grabbed my chest. "Son!" I screamed with all the strength I had left. "Come back!" But the car was already far, kicking up a cloud of dust that blinded me. I stayed there, standing in the middle of the dirt road, with the dust still floating in the air, my feet buried in the dry earth. My hands still reached forward, as if I could grab the car even though it was not there anymore. The sound of the engine faded, further and further away, until nothing was left, just silence. A silence so big it hurt my ears. I looked around. There was nothing, not a house, not a light pole, not a person, just empty fields, hills in the distance, and the sky getting darker and darker. The sun had almost set. Soon it was going to be night, and I was alone, completely alone, with the plaid shirt I had put on that morning, without a jacket, without food, without water, without anything. I went back to the log. I sat down. My legs were shaking so much I could not stay standing. I put my hands to my face, took a deep breath, once, twice, 3 times, trying to calm my heart, trying to process what just happened. He will come back, I thought. This is a joke, a test. He will come back, because you cannot accept that your son abandons you like this. You look for explanations, justifications, anything but the truth. I looked at the road, empty. I waited 5 minutes, 10, nothing, just the wind blowing, kicking up dust, moving the dry bushes, and the cold that started to bite, that entered through my shirt, through my pants, that froze my bones. I took out the bag with the meds from my pocket, opened it. Inside were the pills for my heart, the ones I had to take twice a day. I looked at the time on my watch, 4:30 in the afternoon. I had to take a pill at 6, but I had no water. How was I going to take it without water? I put the bag away again, took out my wallet. Inside there was about $40. What good were they to me here? There was nowhere to spend. Nothing to buy. Nothing. I put the wallet away. I stayed looking at the road, waiting, still waiting, because the mind, when it does not want to accept something, holds on to any hope, however idiotic it may be, and I held on to the hope that my son was not a monster, although he had already proven it. Half an hour passed. The sun set completely. The sky turned violet, then dark blue. The first stars started to appear, and I was still there, sitting on that log, looking at the empty road. He is not coming back. I finally thought. The truth hit me like a slap. He is not coming back. He left you here to die, and maybe that was the idea. Leave me in the middle of nowhere, without food, without water, with a weak heart, Wait for nature to do the work, that the cold, the night, the fear, finished what he did not want to do with his own hands, and that way no one could blame him. My dad got lost on a trip, he would say, "We do not know what happened to him," and everyone would believe him, because no one wants to believe a son is capable of killing his father, not even like this, not even in this cowardly way. I got up from the log. I could not stay sitting there. I had to move. I had to do something. I started walking down the road, in the direction we had come from, slowly, because my legs felt heavy and my heart beat strangely. I walked 100 yards, 200. The road seemed infinite. Everything looked the same. Dirt, rocks, bushes. There were no signs. There were no landmarks. I could be walking in circles and I would not notice. I stopped, took a deep breath. The cold air burned my lungs. What do I do? I thought, do I keep walking? I did not know. I had no idea. I had never been in a situation like this. I had never been so alone, so lost, so betrayed. I sat on the ground, right there, in the middle of the road, and for the first time all day I felt like crying, but I did not cry. I do not know why. Maybe because tears were not going to change anything. Maybe because pride still weighed more than pain. Or maybe because crying was going to waste energy I needed to survive. I stayed sitting there, looking at the stars that looked clearer every time. There were so many, thousands, millions, and I was so small, so insignificant. An old man abandoned in the middle of nowhere, without a house, without family, without anything. Emily always told me, "William, you are strong, stronger than you think." And I believed her. But that night, sitting on that dirt road, with the cold soaking my bones, I did not feel strong. I felt broken, destroyed, as if my son had grabbed my life and thrown it in the trash, because that is what he had done. He had thrown me away. I heard a noise. Far away. An engine. I jumped up. He came back. I thought, Michael came back. I looked at the road. I saw lights. Lights that were approaching. My heart beat hard. But this time, with hope, I knew he was going to come back. I knew he was not capable. The lights got closer. I raised my arms, waving at them. The vehicle braked, but it was not Dave's white Ford. It was a big truck, one of those that carry produce. The door opened. A heavy man got down, with a gray beard and a baseball cap. "What are you doing here, old-timer?" I stayed silent. I did not know what to say. "Are you lost?" "Yes," I said finally. My voice sounded strange, as if it were not mine. "They left me here." "What do you mean they left you?" "My son. He took me for a ride and he left me." The man looked at me with pity, with that pity one has for dogs abandoned on the street. "Hop in, sir. I will take you to the nearest town." He helped me up into the truck cab. Inside it smelled like tobacco and coffee. There was a cross hanging from the rear-view mirror. The man started the engine. "What is your name?" "William." "I am Hank. Have you been here long?" "About an hour." "You are lucky I passed by. No one comes through here at night." I looked out the window. The dirt road looked black under the truck lights. "Why did your son leave you here?" "I do not know," I lied. But I did know. I knew exactly why. Because for him I was worth nothing anymore. Because money weighed more than blood. Because the values I had taught him never sank in. Or maybe they did sink in, but he decided to throw them away. Just like he threw me away. Hank drove for about 20 minutes until we reached a small town. Low houses, dirt streets, a square with trees. He left me at the door of the police station. "Will you be okay, Mr. William?" "Yes, thank you." I got down from the truck. I entered the station. A young officer was sitting behind a desk, drinking coffee. I told him what had happened. He looked at me with suspicion first, then with pity. He called Michael's number. He did not answer. He called my house number. "The number you dialed is not in service." And there, in that cold police station with an officer who did not know me looking at me as if I were crazy, I understood the magnitude of what had happened to me. They had not just abandoned me, they had erased me. And I, like an idiot, stayed waiting for him to come back. Like an idiot. Like a dog waiting for his owner. because you cannot accept that your son hates you, even if all the proof is there, even if he told you to your face. You keep waiting, like I waited, on that log, on that road, on that cold night that almost killed me. The officer lent me an old blanket that smelled of dampness. I sat on a plastic chair in the station and put it over my shoulders. I was shaking, not just from cold. I was shaking from rage, from fear, from pain. The wall clock marked 9 at night. 5 hours had passed since Michael left me on that highway. 5 hours that seemed like 50 years. The officer brought me a tea in a styrofoam cup. Here, Mr. William. It is hot. I grabbed it with both hands. The heat burned my palms, but I did not let go. I needed to feel something. Anything. I took a sip. It was sweet. Too sweet, but I drank it anyway. The officer sat at his desk. Do you have any other number? Anyone who can come get you? I thought. My sister, Betty. I gave him the number. The officer dialed. It rang 4 times. She answered. Hello? Betty's voice sounded tired. Good evening, ma'am. This is Officer Jones from the Paola police station. I am here with your brother, William. Silence. Then, William, what happened? He can explain. I will put him on. The officer handed me the phone. Betty? William, what did you do now? Her tone was hard. Nothing, sister. I did not do anything. It was Michael. He left me stranded on the highway. Another silence. Longer. And now you call me? After you kicked me out of your house for defending him? Betty, please. I need help. No, William. I told you what was going to happen. I told you to your face, and you treated me like I was crazy. Fix it yourself. And she hung up. The phone gave the dial tone. I stayed with the device in my hand. My own sister had hung up on me. I gave the phone back to the officer. She is not coming. Do you have anyone else? I thought of my daughters, Jessica and Jennifer. But Michael had already planted the idea that I was confused. If he had lied to them, if he had prepared the ground, would they believe me? I did not know, but I had to try. My daughters live out of town. I gave him the number. The officer dialed. Jessica answered on the 3rd ring. Hello? Jessica's voice broke my heart. It had been 2 weeks since I spoke to her. Jessica, it is me, Dad. Dad? What happened? Are you okay? No, honey. I am not okay. Michael. Dad. Michael called us last night. He said you were going on a trip with him. Where are you? In a police station. In a town I do not even know the name of. Michael abandoned me on the highway. Silence on the other side. Then a sigh. Dad, Michael also told us something else. What? That since the operation you are confused. That you say things that are not true. That you forget where you leave things. That you invent stories. I felt my chest tighten. That is a lie, Jessica. I am fine. I am lucid. Your brother sold my house and abandoned me. Dad, please, do not start with that again. Again? It is the first time I am telling you. No, Dad. Last week you called saying Michael wanted to rob you, and the week before you said someone had entered the house. I had never said that. Never. Jessica, I never said that. Michael is lying to you. He planned all this to... Dad, stop, please. You are tired. Rest. We will talk tomorrow. Jessica, listen to me. Tomorrow, Dad. I love you. And she hung up. My own daughter hung up the phone on me. I sat there, with the cold cup of tea in my hands, looking at the wall of the station. There was a road safety poster, an old calendar, out of date, a photo of the mayor. Everything looked blurry. Or maybe it was that my eyes were full of tears I did not want to let out. The officer cleared his throat. Mr. William, it is best if you rest here tonight. Tomorrow we will see how to get you home, or to a shelter. I do not need a shelter, I said with a broken voice. I need someone to believe me. The officer looked at me with pity. That look one gives to crazy people, to drunks, to those who are out of touch with reality. Rest, sir. Tomorrow everything will look clearer. But I knew it wouldn't. That tomorrow was going to be worse, because Michael had planned everything perfectly. Every detail, every lie. And I was trapped in his web. I tried to sleep in that chair, but I could not. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the car moving away. I saw the taillights disappearing in the dust. I heard Michael's voice. You are useless now, Dad. The words spun in my head like a broken record, over and over again. At 2 in the morning, the officer brought me a ham and cheese sandwich. "Eat something, sir." I was not hungry, but I took it. I took a bite. The bread was dry. The ham tasted like cardboard, but I chewed slowly, forcing myself to swallow, because if I did not eat, I was going to faint. And if I fainted, they were going to take me to the hospital. And in the hospital, they were going to ask me questions. And no one was going to believe me. No one, because my son had done a perfect job. At 5 in the morning, the officer woke me up. I had fallen asleep without realizing it. "Mr. William, I got a friend to take you back to the city. He leaves in half an hour." I rubbed my eyes. My whole body hurt. My back, my legs, my neck. My heart beat slowly, tired. "To the city?" "Yes, to your house." "Isn't that where you live?" I nodded, although I did not know if I had a house anymore. I got up from the chair. My legs were shaking. The officer helped me walk outside. There was an old gray sedan, with a skinny man smoking leaning on the door. "He is Mr. William. He is the one you have to take." The man looked me up and down. "Hop in, sir." I got in. The car smelled of cigarettes and burnt oil. We started, and I looked out the window, watching the dawn over the hills, thinking that maybe this was my last day. We arrived at the city around 7 in the morning. The man left me at the corner of my house. "Can you make it from here?" "Yes, thanks." I got out. I walked slowly down the sidewalk. My heart was beating fast. Not from tiredness, from fear of what I was going to find. I arrived at the gate of my house, and I saw the chains, thick chains with a huge padlock, crossing the gates. I got close. I touched the chains. They were cold, real. This was not a nightmare. This was happening. "Hello?" I screamed. "Is anyone there?" Silence. I knocked on the gate. The metal sounded hollow, empty. Mr. Patrick came out of his house. "William, where were you?" "Trucks came yesterday. They took everything." The words hit me like stones. "What?" "Your son. He came with some guys and a moving truck. They emptied the house, the furniture, the boxes, everything. I thought you were moving." My legs failed me. I grabbed the gate so I wouldn't fall. Mr. Patrick ran towards me. "Relax, William. Come, sit down." He helped me walk to his yard. I sat on the curb. I was breathing fast, too fast. My chest hurt. "Do you want me to call an ambulance?" "No," I said. "No." I put my hand to my chest. Took a deep breath. Once, twice. "What time did they come?" "Around noon." "Your son was here, directing everything. I asked him where you were. He told me you had gone on a trip, that you were moving to a smaller place." Lies. All lies. Mr. Patrick looked at me without understanding. "What?" "He abandoned me. He left me stranded on a highway to empty the house." Mr. Patrick opened his eyes wide. "It cannot be." "It is." I stayed there, sitting, looking at my house with chains, like a closed tomb. I heard an engine noise. I turned around. It was a black SUV. It stopped in front of my house. A tall man got out, about 70 years old, with a white mustache and military bearing. I froze. It was Colonel Smith, my old friend from the army. I had not seen him for about 10 years. "William?" He walked towards me. "William, what happened to you?" I got up as best I could. "Smith, how did you know?" "Your sister called me last night. She told me something about your son abandoning you." I did not believe her, but I came anyway. He grabbed me by the shoulders. "Is it true?" I nodded. "It is true." Colonel Smith looked at the chains on the gate. Then he looked at me. "Relax, brother. We are going to fix this." And for the first time in 2 days, I felt someone believed me. Someone was on my side. Someone was going to help me. And that, in that moment, was worth more than all the gold in the world. Smith walked to the gate. He touched the chains. "This is illegal. He cannot lock you out of the house like this. He has a power of attorney." I signed it. "It does not matter. This is not done. Let's go to the police." I already went to the police. They did not believe me. "Because you went to a small town station. Let's go to the one here. I know the captain. He helped me get into his SUV. He started it. We were going down the street when I saw two people running towards us. Ashley and Brian, my grandchildren. They were running with red eyes, desperate. Smith braked. They reached the window. "Grandpa," Ashley was crying. "Grandpa, I am sorry. I am so sorry." I opened the door. I got out. They hugged me, the two of them together, crying, trembling. And I, who had endured everything without crying, felt something inside me break. But not yet. I still had to be strong. Because this had not ended, this was just starting. Ashley and Brian could not stop crying. They hugged me as if they had not seen me in years. "Grandpa, we tried to warn you," Ashley said, sobbing. "We tried, but Dad did not let us." Brian, who was always quieter, had a red face from crying so much. "Sorry, Grandpa, sorry." I grabbed them both. I squeezed them against my chest. "It is not your fault, my children. It is not your fault." Smith got out of the SUV. "Are these your grandkids?" "Yes." "Do they know anything?" Ashley nodded, wiping her tears with her sleeve. "We know everything. Dad lied to everyone, but we found proof." She took her phone out of her pocket. "I have the messages. Everything is here." She showed me the screen. They were WhatsApp conversations from Michael, my son, planning my destruction. Colonel Smith took me back to my house. The kids came with us. Mr. Patrick was still in his yard. Other neighbors had come out too. Mrs. Stella, Mr. Jones, the Miller family. Everyone was looking. Smith got out of the SUV and spoke loudly so everyone could hear. "This man, William, is the owner of this property. What happened here yesterday was a robbery, and we are going to prove it," the neighbors whispered. "A robbery? But it was the son. The son scammed him," said Smith, "and you are witnesses." He turned to me. "William, do you have the deed to the house? It is inside, in the study." "And copies?" I thought. "In the bank, in my safety deposit box." "Let's go to the bank." We got back in the SUV, Ashley and Brian in the back, me in front, and for the first time I felt things were starting to move, that maybe not everything was lost. At the bank, the clerk recognized me. "Mr. William, how are you? You haven't been here in a while. I need access to my safety deposit box." "Of course. Come this way." She took me to the vault. She opened the box. I took out the box. Inside was the deed to the house, my grandfather's papers, old documents, yellowed, but valid. "Here they are." Smith checked them. "Perfect. This proves the house is yours. Now we need to prove the sale was fraudulent. I have the power of attorney I signed, but I never authorized selling the house. This is enough." We left the bank. We went to the notary. The notary, a heavy man with thick glasses, attended us with an unfriendly face. "How can I help you? We need to see the record of a property sale," said Smith. "From yesterday." He gave him my address. The notary searched on his computer. "Here it is. Sold by Michael to a Mr. Miller." "That sale is fraudulent," said Smith. "The real owner is here." He pointed at me. The notary looked at us. "Do you have proof?" I showed him the deed. The notary reviewed it. "This deed is in the name of William, but here is a power of attorney authorizing Michael to sell. That power of attorney never authorized a sale." My voice trembled with rage. It was for emergencies, to pay bills, not to sell my house. The notary shrugged. "If the power of attorney is signed, it is valid. But it is fraud," insisted Smith. "The gentleman did not authorize this sale. He was deceived. You have to prove that in court." I just did my job. We left the notary. I felt my legs weighing like stones. "I cannot believe this," I said. "My own son robbed me, and no one does anything." Smith put his hand on my shoulder. "They are going to do something, William. I promise you." We went back to my house. The kids were still with us. Ashley looked at her phone. "Grandpa, I have to show you something." We sat in the SUV. She opened WhatsApp. She showed me a conversation. It was from a group named House Plan. Michael, Karen, and Dave were in it. I started reading. "Everything is ready. Tomorrow we sign. And the old man? I take him for a ride. I leave him somewhere far. And if he comes back, he is not coming back." I cut the house phone. I tell his sisters he is senile. No one will believe him. And the kids? The kids know nothing, and if they find out something, it will be too late. I read the messages once, twice. The words burned my eyes. My son, my own son, planning my destruction as if it were a business deal, as if I were a procedure, an obstacle, nothing more. I kept reading. There were more messages. How much is the house worth with everything? The appraiser said $450,000. And how much does Miller offer us? $400,000. It is a good price, considering it is fast and cash. And how do we split it? I keep $300,000. You guys split the other $100,000. And the old man? The old man is not a problem anymore. If someone finds him, he will be so confused they won't believe him. If no one finds him, well, nature does its work. I felt my stomach turn. Brian was crying again. Grandpa, when we read that, we could not believe it. We wanted to tell you, but Dad had us watched. He did not let us talk alone with you. We tried that morning, said Ashley, but Dad interrupted us. Smith read the messages too. His face got hard. This is enough. With this, we can file criminal charges. Criminal? Yes. This is fraud, forgery, and attempted homicide. Homicide. The word hit me hard. Yes, William. He abandoned you in the middle of nowhere, knowing you have heart problems, without food or water. That is attempted homicide. He can go to prison. The idea of my son in prison turned my stomach. Despite everything, despite what he had done to me, he was still my son. I do not know if I want that, I said. Smith looked at me seriously. William, listen to me. This man betrayed you in the worst way. He stole your house, your things, your dignity, and he was willing to let you die. You owe him nothing, nothing. He was right, I knew it. But the heart does not understand reasons. The heart is an idiot. Grandpa, said Ashley, grabbing my hand, we are going to testify. We are going to tell everything. What Dad did, what Mom knew, everything. Your mom knew? Ashley nodded. She knew everything. She was an accomplice. We heard conversations. Mom was the one who convinced Dad when he doubted. Mom was worse than Dad. When Dad doubted, she told him, Michael, it is him or us. Either we keep living like this or we do something. We heard her once. They were in their room. Dad said, but he is my father, Karen. And she responded, your father already lived. Your children need a future. Or do you want Brian to go to a community college? That is how she manipulated him. With us. She used her own children to convince him. Karen, I whispered, the woman who cried on my shoulder the day of the trip, the one who told me, I love you, William. All lies, all acting. And Dave? Dave was the driver. They paid him $20,000 to drive that day and keep quiet. $20,000. That was the price of my life. $20,000 for a guy I barely knew. I stayed looking out the window of the SUV, looking at my house with the chains, and I thought, how did we get here? How did my life become this? Smith started the SUV. We are going to the district attorney. Now. We went. The building was gray, ugly, with dirty walls and a smell of cigarettes. We went in. A young female DA with glasses and a tired face attended us. How can I help you? Smith spoke. He told her everything. The power of attorney, the abandonment, the messages. He showed her the proof. The DA listened in silence. Then she looked at the messages on Ashley's phone. This is serious, she said. Very serious. Can you do something? I am going to start an investigation immediately. And I am going to ask for a restraining order to block the sale of the property. And Michael, if the evidence is sufficient, he will be charged. And probably arrested. I nodded. The DA looked at me. Mr. William, are you willing to denounce your son? The question remained floating in the air. Was I willing? I looked at Ashley and Brian. They looked at me with hope, with pain, with love, and I knew the answer. Yes, I said. I am willing. The DA nodded. Good. I am going to need you to make a formal statement. And bring all the evidence you have. We spent 3 hours at the DA's office. I told everything. From the beginning. from the power of attorney to the abandonment. The DA recorded everything, took notes. Smith was sitting next to me. Ashley and Brian also testified. They showed the messages. They told what they had heard. When we finished, it was already night. We left the building. I was exhausted, physically and emotionally. "Where are you going to sleep today?" asked Smith. I did not have a house. I did not have anything. "I do not know. Come to my house. I have a guest room. I do not want to bother. You are not bothering. Come." I accepted, because I had no choice, because I was broken, because I needed a place to feel safe, even for a night. That night, lying in the bed of Smith's guest room, I looked at the ceiling. I thought about everything, about Emily, about Michael as a boy, about the house, about the paintings, about the Swiss clock, about everything I had lost, and I felt something strange in my chest. It was not pain, it was not sadness, it was something else. It was determination. Because until that moment I had been the victim. I was going to fight. I was going to get back what was mine, not for revenge, not for hate, but for dignity. Because a man can lose everything, but if he loses his dignity, he is nothing. And I was still something. I was still William. I still had 76 years of life that were worth more than any house. I did not cry that night. I just breathed deep, and I decided this was not going to destroy me, that I was going to survive, and that I was going to win. A week later, Smith called me to his study. "William, I have to propose something to you." We were sitting in his office, surrounded by papers and old army photos. "I am listening. I have a transport company in the city. It is not big, but it does well. I need a partner, someone I trust." I stared at him. "Smith, I am a mechanic. I know nothing about transport. But you know about engines. You know about maintenance. You know about hard work." He leaned forward. "Come to the city. Start over. Leave behind all this crap your son did to you. I do not have money to invest. I do not need your money. I need your experience and your word." He extended his hand. "What do you say?" I looked at that hand, wrinkled, full of age spots, but firm, like mine. "Why do you do this for me?" "Because in the army I learned that brothers do not abandon each other. And you are my brother, William." I grabbed his hand. "I accept." I moved to the city 2 weeks later. Smith got me a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood. 1 bedroom, kitchen, bath, nothing fancy. But it was mine, or at least it was a place where no one was going to betray me. I started working at the transport company. At first I only checked the trucks, verified they were in good condition, but little by little I learned the business, the contracts, the clients, the routes. Smith taught me with patience. "Do not rush, William. Step by step." And I advanced, slowly. But I advanced. Every day that passed I felt I woke up a little more, that I stopped being that old man abandoned on the highway, that I went back to being William, the one who worked since he was 14, the one who raised 3 children alone, the one who survived everything, and now I was going to survive this too. Meanwhile, the DA moved forward with the investigation. She called me every week with updates. "Mr. William, we blocked the sale of the house. Miller cannot take possession until the trial ends. And Michael, we summoned him to testify. He did not show up. What happens if he does not show up? An arrest warrant is issued." The idea turned my stomach. My son, a fugitive. But it had been his decision, not mine. Ashley and Brian visited me in the city every 2 weeks. They came by bus. They brought food. They cooked themselves. "Grandpa, we miss you," Ashley said, hugging me. "How is the company going?" "Good, honey. Very good." Brian looked at everything with curiosity. "And when are you going back to the old house?" "I do not know. Maybe never." And it was true. That place was not my home anymore. There was nothing left there for me. 3 months later, everything changed. The company was growing. We got new contracts. We bought 2 more trucks. Smith made me an official partner. 50-50, he told me. "Are you sure?" "Very sure." We signed the papers at a lawyer's office, and for the first time in months, I felt something like joy. It was not complete joy. There was still a lot of pain, but it was a beginning. I bought new clothes, a gray suit, white shirt, leather shoes. Nothing very expensive, but decent. I looked at myself in the fitting room mirror. That man looking back at me was not the same one who had gotten into that car 3 months ago. He was another, thinner, harder, stronger, with deeper wrinkles around the eyes, but with something new in the look. Determination, dignity, pride. It looked good on me. The DA called me on a Thursday. "Mr. William, we have a trial date, and something else." "What?" "Your son tried to sell the objects from the house, the paintings, the clocks, the maps. But the buyers filed a report when they saw there was a judicial block. Are the objects blocked too?" "Yes. Everything is in a fiscal warehouse. When the trial ends, if we win, they return everything." I felt something in my chest loosen. My grandfather's paintings, the Swiss clock, the old maps, they were not lost. There was still hope. "And when is the trial?" "In 2 months, November." "Do I have to be there?" "Yes." "And do we need witnesses?" "Are the grandkids going to testify?" "Yes, they are going to testify." "Good. With their testimony and the evidence we have, we are going to win." I hung up the phone, and for the first time I felt justice existed, that not everything was lost, that there was light at the end of the tunnel. I hired a lawyer, the best I could afford. His name was Mr. Stevens, a serious guy with a thin mustache, who spoke with words I did not understand but sounded powerful. "Mr. William, your case is solid. We have fraud, forgery, misappropriation, and attempted abandonment. What penalty can he have?" "Between 5 and 10 years in prison." 10 years! My son could spend 10 years in prison for what he did to me. The idea hurt me and relieved me at the same time. And if he wants to negotiate, let him negotiate. But we ask for the full return of everything. The house, the objects, and compensation for damages. Compensation? Yes, for the psychological and physical damage he caused you. I did not want his money. I only wanted my house, my life. But Stevens was right. We had to ask for everything. Because in negotiations, you always ask for more to get what you really want. Michael tried to contact me. He sent messages through Ashley. "Tell your grandfather I need to talk to him." "What do I tell him, Grandpa?" "Tell him to talk to my lawyer, but Dad says he wants to talk to you directly." "I have nothing to talk about with him." Ashley looked at me sadly. "Grandpa, Dad is desperate. He says he is going to lose everything. I lost everything when he abandoned me on that highway. Now it is his turn." It sounded hard, and it was, but it was the truth. I owed him nothing. I did not owe him a conversation. Not a look. Nothing. He also tried to call me. Unknown numbers that I did not answer. He left voicemails. "Dad, please, we have to fix this. I made a mistake, but we can solve it." I deleted the messages without listening to them completely. I did not want to hear his voice. Not yet. Maybe never. In October, my cousin Steve was getting married back in town. A big wedding in a hall with a garden. I got the invitation by mail. I hesitated. I did not want to go back there. I did not want to see the people who had seen me fall. But Smith convinced me. "William, you have to go. You have to show them you are okay, that you won. I have not won anything yet. You already won. You are alive. You are working. You are rebuilt. That is winning." He was right. I decided to go. I put on the new suit, the leather shoes. I combed my hair back, like I did when I was young. I looked in the mirror. That man looking at me was no longer a victim. He was a survivor. And survivors do not hide. They face things. I grabbed the keys to the company truck Smith had lent me, and I drove towards my hometown. Towards my past. Towards my revenge. No, towards my justice. I arrived at the hall around 7 in the evening. There were people in the garden. Music. Tables with white tablecloths. I entered. Conversations went quiet. People looked at me. Some with surprise, others with pity, others with curiosity. I walked with my back straight, looking forward. I saw Jessica and Jennifer near a table. They saw me. They froze. I walked towards them. "Hello, daughters." Jessica had tears in her eyes. Dad, we will talk later, I said. I kept walking. I saw my sister Betty. She smiled. That smile that said, I told you so. I got close. We hugged. Betty. William, you look good? I feel good. Where is Michael? She pointed to the back of the garden. I saw him. He was standing alone, with a glass in his hand, looking at the floor. Karen was next to him, nervous. When Michael looked up and saw me, his face went white, as if he had seen a ghost. And maybe I was, the ghost of the father he tried to kill. Michael approached. He walked slowly, as if every step cost him. People watched us. Everyone knew. In a small town, everyone knows everything. He got within 3 feet of me. He opened his mouth. Dad. I looked him in the eyes. Those eyes that were the same as Emily's. Those eyes that once looked at me with love. No. Dad, we have to talk. We have nothing to talk about, Michael. Please. I am asking you. People surrounded us. A silent circle. What do you want us to talk about? About how you left me stranded on a highway? About how you sold my house? About how you stole everything from me? My voice came out strong, clear, without trembling. Michael looked around. Not here, Dad. Yes, here. Here. In front of everyone. Because everyone has to know who you are. Michael lowered his gaze. I made a mistake. You did not make a mistake. You planned everything. Every detail. For months. Dad, I needed the money. And I needed a son. But neither of us got what we needed, right? I turned my back on him, and I walked towards the exit. And for the first time in months, I smiled. I left the hall. I breathed the fresh night air. Ashley and Brian ran after me. Grandpa, wait. I stopped. They hugged me. We are proud of you, said Brian. Very proud, added Ashley. I squeezed them against my chest. Thank you, my children. Thank you. Smith also came out. Are we leaving? Yes. I already did what I came to do. And what was that? Show them that I am still here, that they did not destroy me, that I am stronger than their betrayal. We got in the truck. I started it. I looked in the rearview mirror. Michael was at the door of the hall, watching me, but I was not looking back anymore. I did not need to, because my life was now ahead. In the city, in the company, in myself. For the first time in 76 years, I was living for me, not for my children, not for my family, for me. And that, even if it had cost everything it cost, was liberating. It was truly living. Finally, the trial was in November, a gray and cold Tuesday. I arrived at the court with Stevens, my lawyer. Ashley and Brian were with me. Smith, too. We entered the room. Michael was already there, sitting next to his lawyer, a young guy with a nervous face. Karen was in the public benches. Dave, too. When they saw me enter, Michael lowered his gaze. Karen bit her lip. Dave greeted me with a nod, as if asking for forgiveness. I did not return the greeting. We sat down. The judge entered. A woman of about 60, with short hair and a serious look. Court is in session for the case Laris versus Laris. And so it began. My son against me, or me against my son, however you want to see it. The final battle. And I was ready. I testified first. I told everything, from the pacemaker surgery to the abandonment on the highway. The judge listened without interrupting. She took notes. When I finished, she asked, "Why do you think your son did this?" I took a deep breath. Because ambition blinded him. Because he measured the value of my life and decided it was not worth enough. Would you forgive him? I stayed silent. The question took me by surprise. I do not know, but I know I am not going to forget. Then Ashley and Brian testified. They told what they had heard, what they had seen. They showed the WhatsApp messages. The judge read them in silence. Her face showed no emotion, but her eyes did. There was indignation there. There was justice. Michael looked at the floor. He did not look up once, while his children exposed him. And that, somehow, gave me more sadness than rage, because it means he knew, that he was conscious of what he had done. And still he did it. Michael's lawyer tried to defend him. My client acted under economic pressure. He had debts. His family depended on him. It was not with intention to harm his father. Stevens stood up. With all respect, Your Honor, the intention is clear in the messages. If no one finds him, nature does its work. That is not economic pressure. That is attempted homicide. The judge nodded. Continue. Stevens presented all the evidence. The messages, the fraudulent power of attorney, the neighbors' testimonies, the medical report showing my health condition after the abandonment. Everything was there, black on white. There was no way to deny it. Michael whispered something to his lawyer. The lawyer stood up. Your Honor, my client wants to reach an agreement. What kind of agreement? Full return of the property and objects, and a public apology? Stevens looked at me. I shook my head. No agreement, said Stevens. We want a sentence. The judge took 2 weeks to decide. 2 weeks I spent working, trying not to think. But I thought, all the time I thought, about Emily, about Michael as a boy, about everything we had lived. At what moment did it break? At what moment did he stop being my son and become this? I had no answer. Maybe I never would. The day of the verdict, the court was full. The whole family was there. Jessica and Jennifer arrived from out of town. Betty was in the front row. Mr. Patrick, my neighbor, also came. I came to support you, William. The judge entered. We all stood up. She sat down. She opened a folder. I have reviewed all the evidence presented in this case, and my decision is the following. The silence was absolute. Michael is guilty of fraud, forgery, and abandonment of a person. My heart beat fast. The sentence is 6 years in prison, with conditional suspension of 3 years if he returns all assets. Michael collapsed in his chair. Also, continued the judge, I order the immediate return of the property located at, she said my address, and of all objects that were taken, and compensation of $50,000 for damages. Stevens squeezed my shoulder. We won. But I did not feel victory. I felt empty, because winning meant my son had lost. And although he had betrayed me, he was still my son. We left the court. Michael left through another door, escorted by his lawyer. We did not look at each other. Ashley and Brian hugged me. Grandpa, you won. Yes, my children, I won. Jessica and Jennifer approached. They had red eyes. Dad, we are so sorry. We should have believed you. I looked at them. My daughters, my little girls. It is okay. It is over. It is not okay, said Jessica. We failed you, and we are going to spend the rest of our lives trying to make up for it. I do not need compensation. I only need you to be here, now. And I hugged them. The 3 of us together, like when they were little and Emily was still alive. A month later I went back to the house. The house was already unlocked. The chains were gone. The gates were open. I entered slowly, with my heart beating fast. The house was empty. Michael had not returned the furniture yet, but it was clean. The walls were still there. The wooden floor Emily had chosen. The high ceiling with the beams my grandfather had put. I walked through every room. The dining room, the living room, my room, the twins' room, the study. Everything empty, but still mine. I stood in the center of the living room and cried. For the first time since everything started, I cried. Not from sadness, from relief, because the house had returned. My house, my home, my life. Smith entered behind me. What are you going to do with this? I do not know. Maybe sell it. Sell? Yes. This house has too many memories, good and bad. I need to start over. And the company? The company I continue. It is my future now. Smith smiled. Seems good to me. I organized a party in the garden of the house, a farewell party. I invited everyone. My daughters, Betty, the neighbors, Smith and his family, Ashley and Brian. It was a sunny Saturday in December. We put long tables with food, barbecue, salads, wine. 70s music played on an old speaker. People laughed, talked. They congratulated me. William, so good you got the house back. William, you look very good. William, you are an example. I smiled, thanked, and for the first time in a long time I felt at peace. Ashley and Brian were by my side all the time, proud, happy. "Grandpa, we love you," said Ashley, hugging me. "And I love you, my children. You saved me." "No, Grandpa, you saved yourself." Maybe she was right. Maybe I had saved myself. With help, yes. But in the end, the decision to get up had been mine, no one else's. Jessica and Jennifer arrived together, with their husbands and their children, my other grandkids, who lived far away and whom I saw little. They approached shyly. "Grandpa, do you remember us?" "Of course I remember." I hugged them. "Come, Mom told us everything. What Uncle Michael did to you. It is over." "No, Grandpa. It is not over. We should have been there too. We should have defended you. You are here now. That is what matters." Betty approached with a bottle of wine. "William, I told you," I laughed. "Yes, sister. You told me. And you did not listen to me. I know. Forgive me. I already forgave you, fool. The important thing is, you are okay." We clinked glasses. "To the siblings who do not give up," she said. "To the siblings who do not give up," I repeated. And we drank. The party was at its best moment when I saw him, Michael, standing at the gate, looking inside. He had not entered. He just watched. The music continued. People kept laughing. But I saw him, and he saw me. I walked to the gate, slowly, with the glass of wine still in my hand. I reached him. We stood looking at each other. Two men who once were father and son. "Dad!" His voice trembled. "Do not call me that. Please, I just want to ask for your forgiveness." "Forgiveness?" I laughed, a bitter laugh. "Do you think forgiveness fixes this?" "No, but it is the only thing I can do." I looked at him. I really looked at him. He was thin, haggard, with new wrinkles on his face. He looked old, older than me. "You abandoned me like a dog in the middle of nowhere," I said. My voice came out cold, hard. "Did you think I was going to die there? That the cold or my heart were going to kill me, and you were going to keep everything?" Michael was crying. "I did not want to. But the dog did not die. The dog found a new home, found people who valued him, who respected him. Dad, and you lost the only father you had." Michael collapsed. He literally fell to his knees. He cried like a child. "Forgive me, Dad. Please forgive me." I did not cry. I stood there, with the glass of wine in my hand, looking at him. I felt many things: sadness, rage, pity. But I did not feel like forgiving him. Not yet. Maybe never. "Get up," I told him. "Do not kneel. That does not give you dignity." He got up. He wiped his tears with his sleeve. "Will you ever forgive me?" "I do not know, Michael. Not today." "And tomorrow?" "Not tomorrow either. Maybe in 10 years. Maybe never. But today, in this moment, I need you to know something." "What?" "That I survived. That I rebuilt myself. That I found a new life without you. And that life is better than the one I had before, because now I know who loves me for real, and who only loves me for what I have." Michael lowered his gaze. "Leave," I told him. "This party is not for you." And he left. He walked down the street with slumped shoulders, defeated, and I went back to the garden. I went back with my people, with those who stayed. That night, when everyone left, I stayed alone in the garden, sitting in a chair, looking at the stars, the same stars I had seen that night on the highway when I thought I was going to die. But I did not die. I survived. And not only did I survive, I revived. Because sometimes life takes everything from you. It leaves you in the middle of nowhere. It abandons you. It betrays you. But if you have dignity, if you have strength, if you have the will to continue, you can rebuild yourself. You can start over. At 76 years old, I started over. And it was hard. And it was painful. But I did it. And now I am here, with my house recovered, with my company, with my family that loves me for real, with my dignity intact. The highway did not kill me. It gave me back my life. It showed me who I really was. And that, although it is hard to believe, was the biggest gift I could receive. Because now I know that it does not matter how many times you fall, It matters how many times you get up. And I got up. And I am here. And I am going to stay here until the last day of my life. And you? What would you do if your own son abandoned you in the middle of nowhere? Would you forgive, or would you move on without looking back? If this story touched your heart, leave me a comment telling me what you think. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it. Sometimes a story can change a life. Thanks for being here. See you in the next story.